Welcome to the That's Based Midweek Check-In episode. We're here. Well, first off, we're brought to you by OutlawStreamers.com. We're laughing our way through the end of days. I am your unlawfully wedded host, as always, Caleb Salvatore. Rumble, Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. At Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram. Caleb Salvatore Comedy on TikTok. We're here with a special guest, Justin with an E. Healy. He's a comic friend of mine. You all know him. He's on my show this Saturday. If you're in Omaha or the Omaha metro area, or you just want to travel, you got a little bit of extra money. No one has that under Joe Biden. I'm kidding. May 20th, Saturday, 9 p.m., Beach House Bar and Grill, Harmful Content Comedy. We got Stephanie Hillier out of Detroit. Chris Baker, you all know him. If you listen to Outlaw Streamers, you know him. You've heard him on the radio. Not anymore because, well, we destroy brands in the name of wokeness nowadays. That's just the move. But he's here on OutlawStreamers.com. You all know him. You all know him. I'll be on the show as well. We got lots of other comics. Justin, how's it going, bro?
How is it going? I will be the host of that show.
He is hosting it. Make sure you talk right into that mic.
Right into the mic.
Because they yell at me.
It is going great for me personally, besides the fact that you just helped me move a bunch of dog piss couches out of my garage.
I did.
Yeah.
See, that's the kind of guy I am. I moved dog piss. See, if I would have known it was dog piss couches, I would have worn long sleeves.
I didn't tell you about the dog piss.
No, I would have said yes either way. I don't care. But I walk in and I'm like, I lift this couch up and I go, why do I smell like dog piss, right? My entire arm is just covered in it, and I washed it off. Evidently, it wasn't enough because my dogs assaulted me when I got home.
Did they really?
Yeah, well, the big one did. Yeah, they came up and they're like, where have you been?
So
Cheater.
I didn't think about it until you said that, and then after I got done unloading them and doing the whole thing, I like smell my forearms and go, oh yeah, this is dog piss.
Oh yeah, it was dog piss for sure. It was it was quite the shock there.
Maybe this is a reason why my mom gave me an electronic reclining chair.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you need to upgrade? She goes, you need new couches.
How long did they smell like dog piss, man?
So I have two dogs. They're Australian Shepherds, right? They're about a year apart.
Mm-hmm.
And they started like having a pissing contest, literally. So about for the last
Are
year.
they fixed?
They weren't, and that's why it smells like dog piss, because they're like they picked it, and they're like, oh, let's just keep going back to this spot. And I'm like, guys, I really don't want to take your balls, okay? I really believe in keeping your balls intact, but can you please stop pissing on my furniture?
See, I believe in that too, and any of you that own like female dogs out there that don't know this, I believed in that too, like not fixing them or whatever. But if you don't spay your female dog, there's this thing called pyometra where the uterus gets infected and explodes and kills them.
That?
And it's not a matter of if it happens, it's when, unless something else kills them
Pyometra?
first. Pyometra.
What does it do?
The uterus gets infected, swells up, explodes, and then releases toxins into the rest of their body and kills them.
Just
my
like
dog almost
just
died
a
from
normal day, or just like another dog have to come and be like, hey, let me stick my dick.
Another day. Yep.
Just any other day.
It will happen if you don't get them spayed. If you have a female dog, it happened to my dog when she was 10.
Talk
she
about
lived.
female struggles, man.
She lived. She beat it. Yeah, I know, right? Male privilege, right? So if those of you out there listening that don't have female dogs, or that do have female dogs, get them spayed. And if you're gonna breed them, that's fine. Have the puppies, then get them spayed. They will not survive without surgery, and the surgery was like $1,000, and that was the cheap. That was cheap.
$1,000?
It was. So after I paid, so I had to take her to. Well, the surgery itself was like $600. The medicine was like another $150, and then the X-rays that I had to take her to get were about $5. Because I took her to $500 because I took her to the emergency vet for the X-ray.
What insurance does your dog have? Blue Cross?
Actually did get her insurance afterwards.
Get the fuck out. You have insurance for your dog?
$50 a month. Yeah.
There's insurance for your dogs?
You can get insurance for your dogs.
I thought it was like a shotgun shell.
No.
I'm sorry, I grew up next to a cornfield.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have those too.
I thought it came to a point, the horse breaks his leg.
Times have changed.
I love you, Mia. I really do.
Times have changed.
Can you imagine that was the insurance policy on your wives back in medieval times?
Well, you had like 4 or 5 of them. That was why.
Right, yeah. One life.
And then you had a couple kids, so if you needed to do a child bride, they didn't really know about the whole incest thing back then.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine your actual bride, the oldest one, breaks your leg? Long sword right to the head. Then you're looking at your oldest daughter from that bride, and you're like, hey.
Kind of looks like her. Close enough,
You look
right?
really similar to your mom. Are you going to nag as much?
All right, we got to get into the topics this week. First off, did you watch the Trump town hall on CNN?
I did not, but I heard a lot of the shills on Twitter complaining about
Meltdowns. God forbid the other side have a voice, right?
Oh, my gosh. Brian Seltzer was the best because he just got fired, didn't he?
Yeah.
and he's gonna like, how can they let him get away with what he's saying?
Get away with disputing. See, that's the thing, is it's not about letting him get away with anything. It's about being able to control the narrative. When they can't control, because it's just like what you saw with Elon with Twitter, right? When Elon took over Twitter, they weren't mad that people were going to be able to speak their minds. They were mad that they couldn't control the narrative. That's what they were worried about, because now
this is right-wing propaganda.
Yeah, no, right-wing propaganda means countering their nonsense with facts 9 times out of 10.
You mean what my mom was saying the whole time?
Right, yeah. Your conspiracy theorist uncle was right. Well, they hate the community notes because Biden gets fact-checked so much, and they refuse to fact-check leftists on Facebook and Instagram. So it's a game changer. So, because this is the thing. If Trump got, like, humiliated in that town hall, if they made him look like a fool, no one would have cared.
Exactly.
They would have been happy about it. Look, we dunked on him, blah, 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 blah.
Look at this idiot. He's not saying anything.
Right, but that wasn't the case. They had to get, it was that wasn't what happened. They're not mad that Trump was given a platform. They're mad that he was able to dispel the nonsense they've been spewing about him for 2 years. That's what they were upset about. Because he came with receipts. He came.
Yeah,
exactly. You encouraged violence on January 6th, and then you waited to tell people not to get violent until after it had happened. He's like, here's on January 5th where I said be peaceful. Here's 2 more.
What a troll move, though.
He's like, I brought receipts.
Here's the pitchforks. Be peaceful.
He's like,
use these pitchforks solely for hay.
He's like, here's 2 more tweets on January 6th before the riot started where I said be peaceful. And it's like, oh. And they were mad about that. It's not about facts. It's not about the truth. It's about being able to control the narrative. They've painted their worldview, these left-wing shills, and the boomer liberals, you know what I mean? Your great 55-year-old aunt that's 4 times boosted and all that nonsense.
With 3 cats.
Yeah, I voted for Biden to bring class back to the White House, that kind, right?
Dude, do you remember that? That was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I just want civility to be
civility.
back.
Yeah,
civility.
We were carpet bombing the Middle East, that kind of civility.
Yeah, and then we went right back to bombing Syria.
Yeah.
We're keeping Title 42. We're keeping them in Mexico. All the other things.
We're not doing that. They just let them across the border.
Is it reversed fully now?
It's a
on Wednesday,
mess.
right?
It's a mess down there. Yeah.
Dude, so my coworker, my welder, his mom works down there, and they go, it doesn't matter. If they don't have an ID card, we just ask them the name, and they go, okay, and we just take their word for it, and then we ask them where they want to go.
I believe it. Yeah. They dropped a bunch of them off.
10,000 people. What are you gonna do?
They dropped a bunch of them off at Kamala Harris's house.
I think they should keep doing that. Honestly, I think they should keep dumping them places.
Well, that's my thing. Is if you want to be all open and accepting, you should let them in your homes.
Yeah, why
not?
Let them in your home? Not?
We're expected to live next to them because that's the thing. And I, honest to God, I would take the illegal immigrants that truly come over here to just work. Not the drug dealers and the human traffickers.
Well, they're going to find jobs. They're going to find jobs in the communities that we're in.
I would take 100 of those for every blue-haired leftist feminist college student. Take all of them from us. We'll trade.
Can you imagine? You know how the Bronx got gentrified by like blue-haired leftist women, right? And now it's one of the most expensive places to live in New York.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a bunch of immigrants get bussed into there and they're just willing to work, and then drives them all off, and then they start complaining about gentrification?
Well, that's exactly what should happen, because that's the thing is these people that push for it, none of them are going to live next to these people.
Oh, exactly.
None of them.
And it is the same people that went into urban areas that they just gentrified, and then they pushed
them all out.
The actual people that were living there.
Yeah, they pushed everyone out, and then they're the ones that it's such a hypocritical thing.
Let them into your city.
Yeah, they can live next to you. Well, it's like when Trump. I remember in 2020, it was a big deal that Trump passed some law forbidding government-assisted housing in certain parts of like middle-class parts of town. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Once you get to a certain level of success, you shouldn't have to live next to people in government housing.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a way of life. That the whole white flight, it's not a white flight, it's a money flight.
I'm not
Money doesn't want to be around problems.
Well, yeah,
we have a friend that we don't need to name them. She got harassed by a homeless dude, and it was like her first realization that like the downtown Omaha area is dangerous. And she's like, I can't believe this happened to me. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? The homeless shelter's right there. Yeah, danger's right there.
It's just a fact, man. I mean, homeless people are more prone to violent outbursts and freak. It's just a fact, man. They're more unpredictable. It is what it is. It's not white flight.
No.
My fiance's Native American. If they put an OHA tower next to our house today, we're gone tomorrow. Like, we're out of here. Bye. It's not a white or black or Hispanic
it's a money thing.
No, I don't want to be around. I've worked hard enough.
I don't want people begging for change near me.
I've worked hard enough. I don't want to have to watch my door with a shotgun every night. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to pay extra money for security systems because 700 people next door to me are going to come try to break into my house. That's not what I want. Well, not 700, but of those 700, there's 30 or 40, and that's way higher than I want.
They're crazy.
Yeah, way higher than it's not even them trying to rob me. It's, hey, I'm walking out to get the mail, and this guy thinks I'm a CIA agent out to get him and stab me with a screwdriver. I don't want that.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm like an elitist. It's not like I have like $100,000. I'm literally a union steam fitter.
Right. Yeah,
I'm just a blue-collar guy that just wants to be able to get off work and go home without getting stabbed.
Yeah, it's not a redlining thing or anything like that. There, unfortunately, I mean, once upon a time, we put crazy schizophrenics in mental institutions.
Did you hear they might be talking about bringing that back?
They should. They never should have took it away.
They shouldn't have. They shouldn't have, because the violent crimes that I committed, random acts of violent crime increased by what? I think it was like 30% over the course of 1980 to 1993.
Well, if you look at what was it? The Jordan Neely guy that died on the subway.
Oh, that's a good one.
He was a homeless person with mental illness that was having a breakdown. He needed help. Yeah, he should have been in an asylum. He should have been away. Violent homeless people, not even homeless people, people that are threats to themselves and others should be away from the rest of us. I'm sorry you're mentally ill, but that doesn't mean we should abandon you. We should try to figure out what's wrong with you and see if we can fix it. But in the meantime, you shouldn't be out with my mom and my grandma on the street. Sorry.
What's the deal? Like, what's this like? 1 out of 100,000 people are gonna get lupus, right?
Right.
That's society we've all dealt with. 13 people out of 100,000 people are gonna get lupus. Well, 13 people out of 100,000 people are going to be mentally batshit insane, and they should be excluded from the other 100,000.
They should not be.
It's not their fault. They got a bad end of it. But if we're just letting them deal in society, then they're going to fucking find their own problems.
Humans are the only species that does this, right? In the animal kingdom, if you've got an animal that's rogue and goes wild, they kill it. Yeah. They don't just banish it. They kill it. You're a threat to the rest of the pack. We're going to kill you.
Well, now, we're humane.
We're more civilized. We shouldn't kill them because we have the capability to not do it.
Well, we don't in Western society.
Right.
We can't say that for the whole human race.
Africa,
It's not going on in Euro-Asia. It's not going on in Africa. It's not going on in some parts of Asia either. It's literally Western European society that goes, we shouldn't kill our mentally ill.
But no,
we should separate them. And then we decided maybe we should just let them back in. And now this is causing all these problems.
Yeah. Well, no, and that's exactly it. Is we have the ability, and we should be humane. We're better than animals. That's what separates us from animals.
Right.
We're more humane than them. We shouldn't just kill the mentally ill, right? That's
right.
not. I can't believe
we're not communists. We don't have a brick wall.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, they should not be out with the rest of us. You got dealt a bad hand. You got the shit end of the stick. I'm sorry. That sucks. It really blows for you. But that doesn't mean I should live my life looking over my shoulder because the homeless guy in Vegas felt that I looked at him the wrong way and follows me for 1.5 miles wanting to fight. That's a true story.
I wish you were at the mic on Tuesday. Literally this Tuesday. There was a homeless girl that walked up. She was walking with a wheelchair. And then she sat just within earshot with us. So we're on this like patio on Leavenworth Street in Omaha. It's right next to a homeless shelter. A lot of homeless people come there. And she's having this full-blown conversation to herself.
With herself.
And none of the comedians are making eye contact with her.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, this is kind of a threat. So I face the other comedians where I can see her.
Yeah.
And then hours go by, and she's just getting more and more aggressive because she's talking to herself with this whole little thing that's got going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what if this person pulls out a gun? What if this person pulls out a knife? We're not safe right here.
No.
And I have comedian friends that just like to ignore that. I'm like, you have to have your back turned. That this is a real threat. She obviously she walked up here with his wheelchair. She's not wheelchair bound.
Right. Yeah.
And she's getting very mad. She's getting very mad about something that we're all not listening to.
Something
and it
you
sounds
have no
like
control
she's mad
over.
that we're not listening.
Something you have no control over.
Exactly.
I mean, I've had an incident.
There was literally a barrier that's 42 inches high dividing her from us. She could sprawl, she could jump that barrier and attack us at any moment. And we're just all acting like that's okay. I feel like that's what happened with Jordan in New York. In New York, there's all acting like, hey, you know, he's crazy right there, but he's 5 feet away from me, so it's not a big deal. And then when it becomes a big deal, they're like, oh, I don't know how to act. And this Marine, he knew exactly how to act. He's like, I'm going to subdue the situation. Yeah. And there was 3 other people helping subdue that situation.
And that's the problem in these communities, these like hyper-liberal communities where you've defunded the police like they want. You can say what you want about the police. I agree. They need different types of training on de-escalation and non-lethal tactics. I agree. But that's their job, right? So when you remove the police, now you take a guy that's not trained at all. Now it's the Amazon warehouse worker is going to have to solve this problem. Now, again, cops aren't perfect. They're not always the best at de-escalating situations. I get that. But I would rather have someone that's what he does and he has to have X amount of training every year than, hey, I sell insurance from State Farm for State Farm. Now this crazy guy's in my face. I'm just going to shoot him. Like that's what they're going to do. I'm going to choke him. I'm going to shoot him. I'm going to punch him. It's going to get violent because I don't have I don't work for State Farm. Go ahead. Call State Farm. Tell them Caleb Salvatore is this horrible person. They're going to be like, who the hell is that?
You just lost a sponsor on that one.
Yeah, I know, right? I do not work
for... a good neighbor. Caleb's not there.
No, I am not there. I was using that as an example.
State Farm was like a good neighbor, you're armed.
I was making an example. So if I was the guy that sold insurance for State Farm or worked at the Amazon warehouse or whatever, I'm not trained in de-escalation. That's not part of my job, right? I may have watched a YouTube video on it.
Now, here's the real question, though, Caleb. I got a real question for you. Would you rather have a yoked-out gym bro, just got done doing steroids, he's on the subway, he's railing, he's listening to Eminem from 2004, right? No clue.
Motionless
or would
and
you
white,
rather have a trained police officer, been doing it for 2-3 years now, she's 120 pounds.
Yeah.
Would you rather have her on the station, or would you rather have this yoked out guy?
And that's a whole other debate because statistically, if you look at it, female police officers are much more likely to discharge their firearm.
Oh yeah.
Because they can't subdue you like a man could. They don't have the
lethal. It's more dangerous.
They're not going to be able to just tackle you and hold you down.
Yeah.
The gun's going to come out a lot quicker, and that's how. Like if some guy were coming at Mia that was my size, I would expect her to shoot him. I don't want her to get in a fist fight with that guy.
There's something that goes. There's a mentality.
Yeah.
When you get when I walk the streets of the Leavenworth, which is a homeless encampment, pretty much in Omaha, I'm not too worried about the homeless people.
No.
That are there. I'm like, oh, you come near me, I'm gonna mess you up.
Right.
I'm a young 20-something-year-old that works out, and I know how to fight.
They have a lot less to lose than you, though.
Exactly, but if I'm a 120-pound-year-old girl and I got sold that I could join the police academy and have a pension and do all this stuff, and then a homeless guy comes up to me and he's 180 pounds, which is what I weigh, I'm not intimidated by him. She's gonna be really intimidated by him.
Right. Well, that's my I always laugh when I hear, and maybe I shouldn't laugh, but you'll hear like when I used to know this girl that was super anti-gun, and I'm like, listen, the cat's out of the bag. Guns aren't going nowhere, right?
Yeah.
It was a girl I went to high school with. I'm like, they're not going nowhere. This is it. They're here. You can either be an idealist or you can get one and strap up yourself, right? That's basically where we're at. And she goes, well, if something ever happened, I'm like, plus like you're a female. The difference between the equalizer between a guy like me and someone your size is a gun. She's like, well, I have my training for that.
What training?
Kung Fu or something.
What training?
90% of that goes out the window in a street fight. Unless you're a black belt that's been doing this for 20 years, like an MMA type guy, it goes out the window.
Look, I know some boxing, but if I go in front of a 6'11", 300-pound, pure man, I'm dying. That's a Viking.
And that's the thing, dude.
That's a Viking that used to storm the shores of my ancestors and just murk us.
Women can train all they want, and that's great. You should have some type of self-defense training. I'm not disagreeing with that, but at the end of the day, if 5'5" girl goes to the ground with a dude my size, it's over. Yeah. I don't care what you've trained in.
Well,
and it's not just that.
I'll listen to their side of the argument when the Ultimate Fighter has a 120-pound girl go against a 220-pound brick shithouse and beat him.
It's not going to happen.
Just wipe the floor with
him.
Dude,
I have no. I have a little bit of boxing training and a little bit of jiu-jitsu. Put me in the ring with 100 women's bantamweight. I'm the champ. Yeah. You know what? It's over.
It's just a weight thing. It's not a sexist thing.
Not a sexist thing.
It's physically just muscle and weight.
Muscle batter. Yeah. Well, and it's not just the kung fu training or MMA or whatever. It's tasers, pepper spray, worthless.
Ooh, yeah. Let's talk about tasers because the person that we were talking about, I told her, I'm like, do you have a gun? Do you have a knife in your car? She's like, no, but so-and-so gave me a taser.
No, it's worthless.
I'm like,
it's better than nothing. It's if you have a taser or pepper spray, it's better than nothing. But it's like I said, man, a couple things can go wrong with a taser. Mia did a Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace deal one time, right? She walked out with her taser, just in case, the person was a whack job.
Oh, this is a Craigslist transaction?
Facebook Marketplace.
But it's the same thing.
She walks back in, and I was like, she does her thing, and Jordan, my friend, comes over, and we're talking. I pull her taser out, and I go to zap it as a joke.
Wait, Jordan, the Michael Jackson impersonator on the side?
No. I go to pull the taser out and just zap it as a joke. Battery was dead. So the batteries can die in your taser. Yep.
Can you imagine?
Pepper spray can expire. Batteries can die. Not to mention, if
I've seen guys blow through pepper spray.
Oh, yeah.
They just get more upset.
You're on drugs. Bigger guy if it doesn't hit you in the right spot.
I've seen normal guys that were just drunk.
Well,
fighting security cops.
Plus, I mean, you discharge pepper spray. That's not going to take them down. It's supposed to buy you time to get away, right?
It's supposed to make it not feel like they want to fight you anymore.
You discharge that in your house. I mean, number one, you're not going to be able to get away because it's going to get in your face, too. There's also the risk of that. You get a windy day, you spray pepper spray the wrong direction.
Now
it's
you're
over.
disoriented.
You're disoriented, and that guy's bigger than you, so he's going to recover faster. It's that whole thing. Tasers, if you're close enough to be in a position where you need to use a taser to where you're able to use it, it's over. Yeah. You're done. Yeah. That guy's got you on the ground. Oh, it's over.
Okay, so say the guy's the same size as you. You have a taser. He has a knife.
He doesn't
care. The blade's
care.
6 inches long.
Knife wins. Yeah.
The knife's going to reach you just as your taser's going to reach him.
Knife wins. The only thing, and people can sit here and be idealistic about this all they want, and they can sit here and say, I'm a gun fetishist. Maybe you're right. I have like 30 of them.
Nobody wants these situations.
No.
This is a reality that we live in.
The reality is there is nothing that can replace a gun in terms of self-defense, especially if you're a woman.
Yeah,
especially
and we live in
if
such
you're a
a small metropolitan community, just being here in Omaha, and then we still have these problems. Can you imagine that times 10?
Yeah.
Like, of course you're going to deal with these problems. To idealistically think, like, well, that's never going to happen to me. That's just not a part of reality.
Right.
There's just people out there that don't have the same morals. They don't have the same values. Shoot, they might have smoked their brain sideways.
Yeah.
You
have no idea.
They think you're a freaking unicorn and come at you.
Schizophrenics, man.
Yes.
I knew a guy.
They exist.
I had a friend of a friend who had some kind of mental illness, and he thought he was coming to my friend was a tattoo artist. He'd come into his shop every day and tell him about these people that are following him. He thinks they work for some agency that's out to harass him. And this is a nobody, right? This guy works 9 to 5.
This is your friend that thought that?
This is a friend of a friend.
Friend of a friend. Did he do like any drugs prior to that?
Probably.
Okay.
So he goes, he's coming to him. He's like, these are the people following me on my commute to work. It's these same 2-3 cars. And I mean, if you think about it, we don't pay attention. When you drive to the same place every day, there's people that are going to the similar route as you, and you're leaving at the same time.
Wait, you don't pay attention?
No. So there probably are other cars that you see every single day or every other day or whatever. So he had this proof, right, of these like 2 or 3 cars and this woman that was sitting at a bus stop or something like that.
Gosh.
And one day in traffic, red light, he stopped at a red light, black car that he thinks is part of the agency following him is behind him. He gets out, pulls a gun on this guy, and sticks it in his face. Yep.
See, now that's a good argument to why people shouldn't have guns. But this schizophrenic had a gun.
How do you know?
Pulls the gun off on the other guy.
How do you know?
How do you know what that guy was?
No, how do you know? How do you stop someone like that from getting a gun? I mean,
I don't think you should.
No,
I think the solution to
I
that
think
is
that guy
you
should
also
be
have
away
a gun.
from the guy should be away from society.
Yeah.
He shouldn't even be out in a position where he could get his hands on one.
Well, I think we also need to accept the fact that we need to be able to isolate them. But if they haven't done anything prior, I think they should be allowed to live in society and make these mistakes. I think I think everybody's just like, oh, we need to be perfectly safe 100%.
No, we can't nerf it.
No, there's gonna be these one-offs. There's this schizophrenic that's able to purchase a firearm, then blast the girl that's at the bus station.
Unfortunately,
that's just a way of life.
Unfortunately, part of being a free society involves an element of danger.
Exactly.
It is what it is. You're trading.
You're
trading
that
for.
Thing.
No, I'm not saying it is either. You should protect
that's just
yourself.
A way of life.
Yeah, and there are things we can do, but this idea that we should nerf society is
there's
asinine.
no way that we're able to be 100% safe.
Yeah, you can have this, or you can have North Korea, where they blow your brains out because you criticize the government.
Didn't clap hard enough or cry hard enough when the leader died. Yeah,
right. Exactly.
Yeah, they're literally doing that on a part of the world right now. Are you okay with staying at a bus stop and maybe getting shot? Or are you okay with living in a society if you don't cry hard enough, you're going to get shot?
I was just checking our time. All right. Last up, so have you followed this Matt Araiza situation?
What is going on with that one?
Matt Araiza, he was a punter for the Buffalo Bills, right? Considered one of the best punters in the NFL. Girl accuses him of gang rape a year ago. They don't do any investigation. They kick him off the team. All of his contract's void because, I mean, if you rape someone, it's void, right? Comes out a year later. Her friends that were witnesses said not only did he not have sex with her, she was involved in a gangbang where it was consensual. He wasn't even at this party. He had left 4 hours prior to her getting there. So the whole thing was a lie, right? And nothing's going to happen. So where is the male privilege here?
Well, first of all, what's his last name?
Araiza.
Well, there you go. He's fucked.
He's a white guy.
If it was Smith or Levenstein, there'd be a lot of uproar.
Goldberg.
And that's called racism.
Yep. But no, there is a lot of uproar. I mean, his life's been ruined. So here's the thing.
What's he gonna do? It's like gosh, I'm blanking on the name. The guy that kneeled.
Kaepernick.
That's
different though.
Yeah, but his whole life got ruined by doing it. He chose
his life didn't get ruined by that.
You don't think so?
He got a $50 million contract from Nike. That was more than he was making playing football. His life did not get ruined by that. Okay. He may claim his life got ruined by that. That was just one endorsement.
Well, that's what we want to pitch.
Yeah.
That's what we want to pitch. His whole life got ruined.
His life did not get ruined for that.
So that's the thing. That's the thing.
Here's the thing with Kaepernick.
If I had said that, if you didn't contest that, you'd be like, oh, yeah, that's right. He didn't be able to play in the NFL.
Kaepernick.
He didn't get all these things. You're like, yeah, his whole life got ruined because he kneeled.
Here's my thing on Kaepernick. You got a right to do whatever you want. I don't care, right? You don't want to stand for the national anthem, don't do it. That's fine. But when you're in the NFL, it's just like being a comic. If you're a comic who's kind of funny but has a lot of drama, like someone we know, if your funny doesn't outweigh the drama to a point where it's worth it, you're not going to get booked. And it's nothing personal. That's just what it is. If you're an NFL player that's a distraction, like if Tom Brady or Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes would have took a knee during the national anthem, they would have kept him. Those guys wouldn't have got cut. Kaepernick was a decent quarterback. He wasn't a superstar. He was a decent quarterback. And he just the talent wasn't there to outweigh the media circus that was going to follow. That's why Kaepernick didn't get a job. It's not, you can claim collusion or whatever you want. That's fine.
Well, that's what I was sold on.
The reality is he just wasn't. He wasn't a bad quarterback. He just wasn't a good enough quarterback to justify bringing on the nonsense from the media and all the attention and all the distractions that the team was going to inherit by signing him. That's all there was to it.
And then I don't follow football that much, but he was a Texas A&M, right? And then he was at the Browns.
He was at Nevada. You're thinking Johnny Manziel.
Yeah. Similar situation.
Now he's playing in the Arena League.
Exactly, but he didn't become an activist. So nobody blamed. He took a stance on alcohol. I love drinking alcohol. And no one's like,
standing
well,
up.
it's because he took a stand.
He was standing up for our constitutional right to drink and drive. Okay. So, for our constitutional right.
Yeah, nobody's going to his defense.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So this Matt Araiza guy's had his life ruined. I mean, cost him millions of dollars.
What's the repercussions for this?
For the girl?
There's nothing.
Nothing. How does she not serve time? Well, she's not going to be able to get sued for the millions of dollars he lost. She doesn't have that, more than likely. So
that's the thing I like about the Alex Jones case and all these cases where they're like, oh, it's $1.3 billion. I'm like, that guy does not have.
Now they want like
$5
trillion from him. So they want the national deficit now.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, even if he sued the girl that accused him of rape, how much does she have?
No,
$100K in student loan debt?
And I'm not
went
saying,
to this Ivy League
so
college?
You have to be careful here because you don't want to discourage actual victims from coming forward, right? So you don't want to say anyone that gets found innocent of rape, their accuser is going to jail. If you can prove.
I disagree with that.
Well, so here's the thing. If some guy breaks into a girl's house and rapes her and he gets off on a technicality, she shouldn't go to jail. No, if you can prove beyond the shadow of a doubt that this didn't happen, she should go to jail. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. If something's up in the air, because the innocent until proven guilty still applies to her.
It's the same as filing a false police report.
Just because you can't prove someone didn't rape you doesn't mean they didn't.
I think if you file a false rape report and it gets proven that it was false, I think the scrutiny should be 10 times of what.
No, I agree. All it'll do is discourage
people.
You're
ruin somebody's other life over a crime that they didn't commit. You're the worst kind of person.
Yeah, no. That's the thing. Is if you're going to make a false allegation like that, there should be something to sway you away from doing that, to dissuade you from doing that. Now, again, like I said, we don't want to discourage people who are actual victims. So if someone did assault you, and there's not enough evidence in court to prove it, or they get off on a technicality or whatever.
Sexual assault's a very
you shouldn't go to jail. She shouldn't go to jail for that. But if you have a situation like this where the friends are like, yeah, this didn't happen, maybe there's video evidence that proves the contrary, whatever, she should do time. That's just how it should go. You shouldn't be able to just ruin someone's life and have no consequences. And this is also why we can't do this believe all women crap. I'm sorry, ladies, you have a man in your life. You have a son, you have a brother, whatever. I get it. But you should not want to live in a society where all a woman has to do is accuse him of something and it can ruin his life, it can ruin his career, it can ruin his relationships, whatever the case may be. You shouldn't want him to have to go through that, just like we don't want our female relatives to go through a world where a guy can rape them and just get off spot free.
Exactly.
That guy should get his day in court, just like you should if you lie about it.
It's a different day. It's a different day in society.
Yep.
That's why with the girl I'm seeing right now, she's exploring herself and like me being a more dominant person. I texted her and I was like, okay, so this is the safe word. If you say this, that means that we're done. I'm going to fully stop.
Foliage.
Yeah, whatever the word is.
Caramel frappe.
But like, I already talked to her about that in person, but I'm like, I need to get this over text.
Yeah.
I need to get this over text because the stuff that she wants to do,
my safe word is,
I can go to jail.
Our safe word is please don't stop. It's very confusing.
What?
No, I'm kidding.
That's horrible.
I'm kidding.
That's the reason why I had to buy Plan B the other day. Really misread that situation.
Anyway, where can people follow you at, man?
You can follow me on Instagram at Justin. It's with an E, not an I. So Justen Healy, and same as Facebook.
Yep, and he will be on our show May 20th, Saturday, Beach House Bar and Grill, 9 p.m. Doors open at 8:30. Tickets $10 online at eTix or at the door. Omaha, Nebraska, Saturday, May 20th, 9 p.m. Beach House Bar and Grill.
We will see you there.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Be sure to check us out, Rumble, Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. OutlawStreamers.com every Saturday and Wednesday. Follow my socials at Caleb Is It Funny on Twitter and Instagram, Caleb Salvatore Comedy on TikTok, Caleb Salvatore on YouTube and Rumble. Thank you so much for listening or watching, whatever it is you do. Cheat on your taxes, not your spouse. Peace out and stay based.